Guys, great pod last week. Having Joel on was such a great idea. I'm so glad we brainstormed that. We had him on. We need to have more guests in the future, which is what we discussed midweek when we had our little meeting. By the way, speaking of our fourth,
Yeah.
where is Joel? Who reached out to Joel for this week's podcast?
Was I supposed to do that? Oops.
This is Red Card Radio. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you're listening from. Thanks for tuning in. Red Card Radio is a weekly look at the Premier League from three friends who support different clubs. My name is James. I support Arsenal. With me tonight is Brad. He supports Chelsea. And Sean. He supports Tottenham. And like we said last week, we had a great episode. We really want to give a shout out to Joel, who supports Newcastle, coming on the podcast with us, loyal listener, and, just talking football with us for an hour or so and giving us his thoughts on Newcastle and telling us why Brad is so wrong on so many points. We really appreciate you, Joel.
Also, an extra shout out to Joel for a big 3 points today, which we'll get into a little bit later.
For sure. Yeah. For sure. But if you are new here and you're expecting to see Joel, commiserations, he won't be here this week. But maybe in the future, stick around. Hit that subscribe button, and you might see other faces pop in and out of this podcast on occasion. Maybe every couple of weeks we'll bring a guest on, let them give us their thoughts about the club they support. And
in a couple weeks or months or years, we might have Sasha Kleshin on.
Yeah,
it's something that's been in the works. Possibly, it's possibly in the works.
Someone reached out to Tim Howard, right?
Let's start with Sasha Kleshin first.
Okay, all right. But if you are new here and you're listening, we really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button, leave us a comment, follow us on Twitter, reach out to us on Twitter, do all those things. All of those links are in the socials. But if you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and the bell for notifications. And if you're on one of our audio podcast versions, just definitely hit that subscribe button. Really helps us reach new people, and definitely share it with a friend. We would love it if you brought somebody into the Red Card Radio family. That would make us feel really good about things. And if you don't do those things, we wouldn't want you to be, I don't know, slightly or mildly inconvenienced, right, Sean?
Yeah, because if you don't like, subscribe, rate, review, tell a friend, and possibly your grandma, and get them to also drop a notification bell, what might happen to you is you might run a factory tour charity auction.
Ooh, okay.
At Mercedes and have your biggest rival, Red Bull, Christian Horner, win the auction.
Oh no, that would be bad.
That would be terrible.
So speaking of which, F1 update for the week.
There we go.
That happened. In the greatest trolling effort in the history of sporting events, according to me.
Okay, good.
Christian Horner won the silent charity auction, whatever it was, to get a factory tour of Mercedes where they make their F1
but Sean,
vehicles.
Who is Christian Horner?
Christian Horner is the team manager. If you're American in the 19, I'm going to take it back for you. My camera's over here. I should look this way. I'm going to take it back for you. This would be if Hendrick Motorsports hosted a factory. This is Terry Labonte, Jeff Gordon. If they hosted a factory
tour,
charity auction tour, and Dale Earnhardt and Richard Childress Racing won, and they got to tour Hendrick Motorsports to see what they were doing over there. That would be the American equivalent.
Or perhaps if it was like if we put this into footballing terms.
Yeah.
If you had if Manchester City was auctioning off a visit to the training grounds and a look in on a training session, and Ralph Ragnick and the boys at Manchester United won the auction
for Manchester United.
Yeah,
but Ralph Bielsa does that anyways.
So back to the much important F1 update. While the things on the track are not quite heating up, we have a month until Drive to Survive drops, and we have about a month and a half until the first race, which I believe is Abu Dhabi.
It's about right, I thought.
Bahrain. Okay. We are heading to Bahrain in about a month and a half. The first cars were revealed. Haas revealed the 7th, which was yesterday. And then Red Bull released tomorrow, the 9th. And then it should be 10th, 11th, 12th, 14th, 13th, on to the 17th, I think is the last one announced. And they're all going to be unveiling their 2022 cars, which so far off to a boring start because, well, it's Haas. So hopefully Red Bull wow us tomorrow, and it looks pretty cool, and we're all getting excited. However, back to the troll job. For those concerned for Mercedes, James,
me,
terms and conditions do not allow Christian Horner to actually tour the facilities.
Good.
Formula One teams and team members are not allowed to enter those. However, Christian Horner, tongue-in-cheek, said he was going to invite 20 of his closest friends, engineers, but not being allowed through terms and conditions, he is still going to leave his $5,000 donation to Mercedes charity.
That's very good.
All in fun and all in jest. Of course, very tongue-in-cheek from Christian Horner. He is British and he is a jokester. So it was all in fun.
Well, my update for F1 is Lewis Hamilton's going to come back. So,
wow, yeah, and I saw from the I guess what do you call him, managing operator of Formula One, says that he is supercharged and ready to go for the season. Lewis Hamilton is, which I find very ironic coming from the guy who runs Formula One, and that's not coming from Toto Wolff, Mercedes team manager. Why does Formula One's manager know if Lewis Hamilton's supercharged and ready to go or not?
Because they got Michael's gonna give him some
because
favorable.
He's got the wink. Yeah. After last year's last race.
I mean, he deserves a little bit more than a wink, nudge. If you
they were like, come back for one more year, we'll make sure you get this ship.
All right. Well, that was much more F1 talk than I was expecting. Do you guys want to talk about chess
real
quick? Magnus Carlsen won the Tata Steel, the classical chess tournament.
Yep. There's another one going on this week.
He gained, I think, 3 ELO points to his quest to 2,900. Since we're just hitting all the topics I
apologize.
It's fine.
I really just had like a couple sentences I wanted to get out there, and then just kind of grabbed legs.
Turned into 5 minutes. So, I love it.
It's all good.
So maybe comments then.
Yeah, let's do comments. So
since we have a ton,
got quite a few. Joel, first and foremost, he just was very thankful for being on the pod, but he doesn't understand how thankful we are that he was on the pod. So Joel, really appreciate you, man. I think you killed it last week, and I think you gave our listeners a really great insight, and I think they really appreciated it just based on the comments. So Joshua Welsh responded. He said, "Hello from Chattanooga, Tennessee. As a longtime listener of the show, I wanted to say that this was a refreshing episode with the inclusion of Joel into the mix. As an Everton fan, I appreciate gleaning on different aspects of the Prem from a plethora of fans. Joel was knowledgeable and added a much-needed accent for the crew. I'd love to see more of him in the future. Keep him coming." So Joshua definitely appreciated it.
Comments like those and ones we're about to read, honestly, as a little behind the pod, we weren't sure how this was going to go.
Yeah.
Being a first guest, we weren't sure if it was going to work right. We were really concerned.
We're not even sure we did it right.
No, even after the pod. So reading these comments is really helpful. Thank you so much for the feedback. And there's a few more, James.
Yeah. So Will came in. He said, "Great episode, guys. You guys turned what should have been a boring international break episode into a really entertaining one. Joel, great job. It was nice to hear a fresh perspective. Looking forward to you joining again sometime. Maybe to gloat at the end of the season when Newcastle prove the guys wrong and stay up."
You get lumped in.
Why do I keep getting lumped into this?
Yeah. Brad is bringing us down, Sean. The anchor that's around Sean's neck Brad's neck is just pulling us down.
I'm just hanging on like, nope, we coming. Y'all coming with me.
He's getting the sheets.
First of all, in 5 years, I've got Newcastle in Europe. And second of all, None of us, I repeat, none of us had Newcastle on the sheets of integrity to get relegated.
Yeah, but that's before we knew how dumpster fire they were in the first half of the season.
The Fighting Trippiers aren't dumpster fires now.
Yeah, they're doing well. I think they're going to stay up clearly, but I mean, they've been not good in the first half of the season, but they are much better now. Jimmy came in. He said, Joel, it was awesome to see you on the pod and hear all your takes. I officially declare my support for Newcastle over Chelsea, Arsenal, and Tottenham. So I think for Jimmy, the hierarchy.
So right behind Liverpool.
I think it's Liverpool.
Wow.
Maybe Newcastle, Burnley. I don't know which one comes first, Newcastle or Burnley, because I think 2 weeks ago you were saying that you're on Team Burnley with Turfmore _ Sean.
We got Tottenham and then Burnley over here.
Yeah, so I think Jimmy is Liverpool, either Newcastle or Burnley, and then the other one. So we'll see. Well, Jimmy will have to tell us.
Which one it is. Jimmy, you just jumping ship every week. What's the team next week?
PSG.
I don't know. I don't know. Joshua's an Everton fan. Maybe Joshua can convince him to be an Everton fan.
That would be my favorite.
Brad is the new Everton fan on this podcast. We'll get into that.
I am. Let's go.
He's such a troll.
I want Everton. I need Everton to stay up.
So Jimmy had some other comments. He said he wanted to give you a shout out, Sean, for the name, the sport, the athlete played. He really appreciated that. He also wanted to let you know he got every single one of those correct.
Well, we to be fair to Joel, we in the pre-pod meeting we talked about this. I on purpose and unironically picked very obvious to Americans athletes.
I didn't know them all.
That's false.
Yeah,
know them all.
To most Americans, I did not pick obscure baseball players. I could have. I did not pick obscure ones. But if Joe were to pull out rugby, cricket, or darts players, I'm going 0 for 5.
Yeah,
unless I get lucky.
For sure.
Like honestly, I got nothing. Even if he started pulling 40s and 50s footballers, probably not getting them.
Honestly, to be fair, if you pulled 90s footballers, you're probably not getting them either.
It depends on how obscure. It depends on how obscure. I was paying attention around the 90s, and I've watched some stuff. But you start getting back in some decades. You start going 30, 40 years in the past. Even if they were Tottenham legends, it'd have to. I might not be getting them.
Yeah, Adam Shearer, right? Adam Shearer, Tottenham legend.
Eddie Sheringham.
Anyway,
30 years ago was 92. Just so we can all feel old real quick.
30, 40 years ago.
Yeah. I'm 31, so that doesn't make me feel that old, Brad. Just saying.
I feel old.
I'm the young one on this podcast. I got the two geezers with me.
Look at you, baby face.
Yeah. Right. Okay, so Jimmy had another comment. And this was about the retroactive penalty conversation we were having that Will brought up. So he said, I don't think you can retroactively give a penalty if the player gets a shot off. This is a tough one, but this is the nature of playing the advantage. If you were to allow this, you essentially have to redefine what advantage is. It's a tough question. I think I say no to this change. Will did respond. He said, if a ref plays advantage in the midfield, but the fouled player gets a pass off that doesn't really go anywhere, the ref will still pull play back for the foul. I think the ref should make the same decision in the box. A weak, non-threatening shot after a foul should be called back for a penalty. If the player recovers and gets off a legitimate shot, then let the shot stand. I think he explained his point much better than I did last week.
I think I can think of at least 2 times in probably the past 3 years where Kane has been taken down essentially, but on the way and trying to keep himself up, because that's one thing we were talking about last week, on the way of trying to keep himself up, kind of on the way down, scissor kicked the ball at the goal.
Yeah.
And I think one of them he ended up scoring and the other one was blocked. But I think to Will's point, the one that was blocked probably should have been deemed a penalty if there was enough contact. If Kane was actually fouled,
yeah,
then that should have been brought back.
I mean,
for a penalty.
I think I could get on board with what Will's talking about.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree.
I don't mind that. I mean, I think he makes a solid point that, like, in the midfield, if the same thing happens, like, you get the foul call. So I don't think I necessarily disagree with that in the box. And I would imagine that's probably how the letter of the law is defined in terms of how advantage is meant to be interpreted. But it's interpreted in the box differently than in the midfield, I would guess. Brad, do you...
Well, To Joel's point, just real quick, to Joel's point last week of American sports replays to what the VAR is. In the situation I just described, like with Kane, where he kind of scissors it on the way down, he's falling down and trying to kick the ball at the goal, and it goes out for a goal kick. By the time, with how quick they are with VAR to the headset, by the time the keeper retrieves the ball and is ready to hit his goal kick, they would have already VAR'd down and said, "Hey, there was a foul there after or before the shot. Go over and review it."
Hey, Sean, that's the second kick that you've shown us. When are we going to see how you're going to save a penalty? I know it's going to be a comment from Jimmy.
Oh, well, we're gonna figure this out. We're gonna get this penalty situation figured. Well, speaking of that, did you guys see that video Zlatan put up today?
No.
All right, so Zlatan,
Need to find this.
there's a punching bag, right? And Zlatan, instead of punching the punching bag, he is holding on to the punching bag, but he's holding on with his legs, and he's just doing sit-ups. Like, so he's hanging on the bag, holding it with his legs, leaning back, and just doing sit-ups. This dude is 40 years old, and he's just shredded.
I think I could do that.
Saving any.
Shut up, Sean.
I think I could do that.
There's no way. When was the
I
last
don't
time?
think you could.
Hold on. When was the last time you did a sit-up?
Do a sit-up right now.
Okay, yeah, you can do a sit-up, but when was the last time you did like an incline sit-up?
I don't know.
Exactly.
When was the last time you could hang off of a bag with just your legs? Not like
I don't know. I don't know. I've never tried.
I feel like you could. I feel like you might be able to do that, but then adding in the sit-up is impossible. All right, that's the new challenge for the week. Everyone go to the gym.
I'll find a punching bag.
Let's record that. Get it on Twitter.
I think that getting on the bag is going to be the hardest part.
I don't. I think you kind of like bear hug it, wrap your legs around, squeeze in, and then you let go with your hands and see if you can even hold yourself. That's the real question. There's no way Brad can do it. Brad's fat.
I need to see this all on video for all of you guys. I want to see you all fall.
Oh yeah. I'm definitely. If I can find a punching bag, I will.
So there's not a punching bag at my gym, but I would definitely try it if there was one. Okay. Anyway, that's my Zlatan take for the week. Will came in. So this is regarding the Notts County story. Juve. The Notts County Juve story. So the story he's heard is that they didn't like how faded their pink kits were getting and had their English player use his local contacts to get some shirts from England. Since his local team was Notts County, they ended up with the black and white stripes, and they liked them enough to stick with them. I hadn't heard about the Puma Adidas issue from a couple years back, but the best story was when Juve opened their new stadium in 2011. They invited Notts County to play in the stadium in the opening game. It ended up being a great event, and there were some videos from the time from Notts County supporters traveling down for the game and having a great time. That's the story Will is remembering.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
I like the last part of that.
Wholesome.
That they invited Notts.
Yeah. Very wholesome. I do remember that in 2011 when they reopened the Juve Stadium. Yeah. All right. That's what we got. Those were our comments. Again, we really appreciate it, especially like those comments from Joshua and Will and Jimmy regarding our format from last week. We really appreciate that. That helps us out a lot. So keep those comments coming, and we will chat about them. So onto the meat and potatoes of this podcast. We've got some FA Cup games to recap, a few Premier League games to recap, and we're going to look forward to the rest of the midweek slate of Premier League matches that we've got going on right now, and the match week at the weekend. And Brad, you can give us any kind of Club World Cup updates that you want to.
Yeah, you're forgetting about the Club World Cup. It's just this super prestigious trophy tournament going on right now that only one of our teams are in.
Sean, I have a question for you. Did I literally just ask Brad to give us an update about the Club World Cup? Hold on, no,
but
Brad,
it wasn't on the rundown.
Brad, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Sean. Brad, I'm going to mute you. I'm talking to Sean. Didn't I just ask that?
Adidas or the Audi Cup is more prestigious than the.
Okay, both of you guys. I'm done.
There's only one English club that's ever won the Club World Cup.
I'm done with both of you.
For the record.
Brad, I literally just asked you to give us updates, so don't troll. Nothing's happened.
It wasn't in the rundown.
Okay, but nothing's happened yet, right?
Palmeiras went through to the final today. The South American club.
Okay.
Chelsea has not played yet. Chelsea plays tomorrow. Plays on Wednesday. So when you're listening to this pod, so it should be in the rundown. Chelsea playing Al Hilal, who actually signed Igalo from who played at United.
You know who cares about the whatever World Cup or whatever you're talking about?
Who cares?
Al Hilal and Palmero is who should care about it.
I think Chelsea care. I think Chelsea want to win it. I think Liverpool.
I think Chelsea wanted to complete our trophy.
Liverpool wanted to win it when they won it.
Yeah, United, Liverpool, and Chelsea are the only 3 English clubs to compete in it.
Second ago, only one's ever won it.
Only one's ever won it. I was saying it. Liverpool won it.
Who did United lose to in the final? The South American team, clearly. I mean,
I have to look up. And in 2000, they didn't even make the final.
The final of the Club World Cup is always the South American team. It's generally the South American team versus the UEFA team. So it's whoever wins the Champions League and whoever wins the Copa America. The Copa Libertadores. Copa Libertadores, excuse me.
And CONCACAF is in there too.
Yes, the CONCACAF Champions League. It's all who wins their confederation's premier competition. So like the Champions League in UEFA, the Champions League in Asia, the Copa Libertadores in South America, the CONCACAF Champions League. I think there's the African Champions League as well. So like all the different confederations, they have their whatevers. And so it's generally like 99% of the time it's the South American team versus the European team. And generally the European team wins. But I guess not against United.
Yeah, United and Chelsea both lost. We lost to Corinthians in 2012.
Corinthians?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so that's the Club World Cup. I was looking at the schedule for this weekend, and I was like, man, why aren't Arsenal playing? And I was like, oh, that's right, because Arsenal were supposed to play Chelsea this weekend, so our game got rescheduled. So, but yeah, let's hit the FA Cup real quick. Not a whole lot that stands out. There were some heartbreaking results. What, Brad? I mean,
what do you mean?
Okay, we'll get to Manchester United in just a second, Brad. Nothing was outstanding because Manchester United are scrubs. The 2 main upsets I think of the weekend were United getting dumped by Middlesboro, 7-8 on penalties. United should have won this game about 8-0 in the first half, but they didn't score their goals, so the game draws 1-1 at Old Trafford, and Middlesbrough are able to win on penalties.
So some kerfuffle about why is Ronaldo taking the 5th penalty instead of the first. Was there some situation where they could have won in the first 5 or?
I don't know if anyone missed through the first. I don't know if anyone missed through the first. Well, like this is kind of what happened.
I just saw some banter about it. Yeah.
Well, think about it like this: in the AFCON final, Senegal beat Egypt. And Salah hadn't taken a penalty. He's the 5th penalty taker for Egypt. I generally think you should have your best penalty taker shoot first, and your second best go second, so on and so forth.
Even though I had the opposite take for England.
I mean,
because they went Kane Maguire, and both buried, and then they put the 3 kids in.
Yeah, but
finish the 5.
But what happens if the kids just miss? Then Kane and Maguire have
exactly. Chance. Oh yeah. Then they don't get to kick. Yeah.
So that's my point. I think it makes more sense for your good penalty takers to take the penalties first. I think that's the best route.
I think you should sandwich them.
Okay, that's fair. Like have a good one at the beginning and a good one at the end.
Yeah, it should have been like just England, for example, just because it's fresh on. It should have been like Saka, Kane, Sancho, Maguire, Rashford. Yeah, something like that, or some combination of that, of like having them every other, or having them 2-3 or 3-4.
I think you should just make your penalties. Just make your penalties.
True.
It's not a problem.
True.
It's just like in basketball, make your free throws.
Or just miss them, and all of a sudden that makes Donnarumma a top 5 goalkeeper in the world because he didn't have to block anything because it didn't even go on target. Anyways.
Tell me.
So actually, when Jimmy misses the entire goal, I'm going to take credit for how great of a goalkeeper I am because I apparently blocked those, and now I'm a top 5 goalkeeper in the world because Jimmy misses the goal entirely.
Yo, tell me you didn't watch any AC Milan last year without telling me you didn't watch any AC Milan last year or any PSG this year. Tell me that this is how you tell me.
He watches fucking Serie A, Liga 1. Liga 1.
All right. So
he watches that crap.
The other upset in the FA Cup this weekend, Nottingham Forrest continue their tear in the cup, and they knock out Leicester 4-1. Nottingham Forest have now knocked out the previous 2 holders of the FA Cup, Arsenal in round 3 and Leicester City in round 4. They have who did they draw in the next round? They have Huddersfield Town in the 5th round. So here's to hoping that Forest keep on trucking. Other than that, Chelsea get past Plymouth Argyle 2-1. They did go down in that game. Plymouth was winning 1-0. Chelsea had to have a 120th minute goal. Or was it like the 109th? They won in extra time.
No. Yeah, we won in extra. No.
Yes.
We finished it right before extra. Hold on.
Was it in the 90th minute? I thought it was in the extra time.
West Ham won in the last seconds of the game.
That's what I'm thinking.
Shout out to
105th minute, but
yeah.
Shout out to Donnarumma by barely staying into the Champions League, and now he's got to go at Madrid.
All right.
Or he's got to go at Madrid in the next leg.
We're moving on. West Ham got that 120th minute winner from, I think it was Declan Rice to beat the Harriers, Kidderminster. That was a pretty heartbreaking defeat for the Harriers, apparently. Palace beat Hartlepool United 2-0. Southampton beat Coventry City 2-1. Everton beat Brentford 4-1. I think that was Fat Frank's first game in charge. Yeah, right, Brad?
Yeah, he's still Skinny Frank. He hasn't gone on a losing streak yet.
Okay, well.
Brentford didn't put on.
He said hold my beer.
We gotta wait till next week, then we can say they're on a losing streak.
Yeah, City crushed Fulham 4-1. Wolves beat Norwich City. Beat Wolves 1-0. Spurs beat Brighton 3-1. Liverpool beat Cardiff City 3-1. Those were all the games that we highlighted last week. There were other results of championship teams versus championship teams and below and things like that I didn't highlight. But yeah, so that leaves the fifth round proper, the draw. Chelsea has Luton Town, Crystal Palace has Stoke, Peterborough United is hosting Manchester City, Liverpool is hosting Norwich City, Southampton is hosting West Ham United, Middlesbrough hosting Tottenham after they beat Manchester United, Nottingham Forest hosting Huddersfield Town, and Everton are hosting Boreham Wood.
Maybe Joel will have to help us out on this one. Or maybe you guys already know. Who decides who's home?
It's done by the draw. Which team is drawn first?
It just is random.
Yeah, it's all random.
So Borough just happened to be drawn first, and then Spurs.
Correct.
Drawn. Okay.
Correct. Yeah, so it's all random.
Okay. There was one big upset we should probably talk about.
Sure.
Boreham Wood is in the conference premiere, so they're probably 6th or 7th tier.
Oh yeah. Who'd they beat?
And they beat Bournemouth, which is like top of the championship.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I didn't highlight that game because it was just like you described.
They're playing against Notts County and Wrexham, which is Ryan Reynolds' team.
Yeah,
okay.
in their conferences.
Ryan Reynolds and Charlie Day.
Oh, that's
right.
The
other guy from Always Sunny.
Team.
The other guy from Always Sunny.
That's right. Yeah. That was a big upset. I didn't think about it. So, but yeah, so those should be some good games. Those are happening on the weekend of March the 2nd. So, we'll talk about that in due course. But that's kind of our rundown on the FA Cup. Unless you guys have anything that you want to add about the Cup. I know how much you guys like the FA Cup.
There's we like it. There's not much to talk about. So what I would like to plug in, what was this? What I would like to put in is, sorry, I almost put a footer on it like we're writing a paper. Moussa Dembele announced his retirement at the end of the season.
Okay.
Tottenham legend. So it was a sad day. We announced it this morning. Sad day for the Spurs. But also happy tears. Happy tears. Good for him. He made a whole lot of money out in China.
Is
And I'm
that where?
pretty sure he was
Is that where he's been?
Guangzhou.
Good luck.
Good. Yeah, this
Good
year.
luck. Yeah.
Let me see.
See if there's
Yeah,
any-
he was. I'm pretty sure, unless he moved on,
the
that
Tigers.
is
The Tigers,
where
right?
we moved to Tigers. Yeah.
They're the Tigers. I don't. He's a Spurs player, so I don't really care. But
Yeah. I don't think
He's-
there's any.
There was about a 2 or 3 year period where he was probably one of the best players
in the league,
in the league.
I think
in the entire league.
I think that's a bold statement. What were the years that he
Wrong-
played? What were
Guangzhou.
when were the years that
He played 12 to 19.
for Tottenham?
Yeah, and then 10 to 12. So 3 years Fulham, 7 years Spurs.
There were a lot of really good midfielders because, like, at the beginning of that, he's running up against Gerrard and those types of players.
Well, the reason I say that he is impossible to get the ball off of. He is slippery. It's not flashy. He uses his arms well and his body to shield, and it's just slight movements, and it's smooth and it's fluid, and it is impossible to get the ball off of.
It's a good question.
And he's strong. He doesn't go down a lot. I was trying to look up this stat, and I could not find it. Of when he left Tottenham, there was around Tottenham Twitter was going around the stat that he had one of the best over the past decade, whatever stats they put together, his time at Tottenham, whatever he had one of the best disposition rates. I don't know how to describe it because hence why I couldn't find it. Basically, he was dispossessed the one of the least percentages in the league. So it just confirmed that anecdote of watching him play, and it was a tangible stat to back up what you watch when you were watching him.
All right, I'm currently going through the PFA Premier League Team of the Year in the 2010s to see if he makes the Team of the Year any of these seasons. And
if it was gonna be, it'd be like 16, 17, 18, 19. It would be somewhere around 15 through 19.
Okay, so in 15 and 16, the Spurs players are Danny Rose and Dele Alli. 16, Danny Rose, Dele Alli again.
And Harry Kane.
Oh, Harry Kane, yeah, I missed that. 17, Jan Vertonghen, Christian Eriksen, Harry Kane. Bro, you're striking out here. 18, 19.
I don't care what these PFA Team of the Years are. I'm just telling you.
I'm just saying that's the way you would judge it, right?
No,
okay. Well,
that's not how you judge it. Just go back and ask every player from Tottenham who the best player on that team was. Every one of them will tell you it's Moussa Dembele.
I will
That was Harry Kane.
I will get on my phone and give them all a call.
Don't worry. I've already got it in my likes. I'll send you the video.
Sounds good. Is it the YouTube comp of Moussa Dembele?
No, it is like interviewing. It's interviewing like a bunch of Tottenham players and a bunch of Belgian players, and all of them say Dembele is the best player they played with.
Fair enough. So
shall we bring us back to United sucking?
Yeah, I mean, that's it's a humorous result. They really should have won the game like 6-0. Like they had that many opportunities in the first half that they were just wasteful, very wasteful in front of goal. And to be fair, the Middlesboro goal was probably handball. Did you guys see this?
No.
So the Middlesboro, a cross comes in. Middlesboro player controls it with his foot. The ball kind of wildly bounces off, and his arm is out, and brushes his hand, which allows him to be able to control it. Well, like it makes it so the ball doesn't go as far away, and he's able to get another touch and cross it back across the goal to his teammate who is free on goal. The United players were irate, and I think rightfully so, because it was definitely an inadvertent handball, but the offensive player's arm was like way out. It wasn't in a natural position, and on top of that, it materially helped him score the goal. So I think United are a little bit hard done in that sense. That Middlesbrough goal should not have stood, in my opinion, and in most people's opinion. But you gotta score goals. Like their bigger issue is not that they let that one goal in. Their bigger issue is that they did not convert their chances. I'm
with you, but I was talking about letting Burnley back into this game and letting a draw happen today.
You were talking
today.
You were talking about the other
FA Cup. Yeah.
Because like the other Manchester United embarrassment.
Yes, that other embarrassment.
My bad. Yeah.
On this Tuesday.
Yeah. So they did play today.
Let's fast forward to today on Tuesday, where they blew.
Yeah, they were away to Turf Moor. They were looking to pick up 3 points, but you don't go to Turf Moor and pick up 3 points. No, sir. Turf Moor is a fortress.
Locked down.
This is Burnley's ascent. It's the beginning of Burnley's ascent because the Premier League changed the rules. Now you have to have 4 COVID positives in order to rearrange fixtures, and now Burnley's going to have to play football, and this is their steady ascent to 9th position in the Premier League table.
Well, hold on now. To be fair to Burnley, only like one of those postponements were their fault.
I'm never fair to Burnley because I don't like Sean Dyche.
Yeah,
I'm just ignoring that. It looks like he had. You remember in Lord of the Rings the one like king that is like slowly becoming his throne, like through like vines.
Yeah,
and he has like the green beard. That's Sean Dyche.
Bro,
I just feel like his goatee is becoming more green every time I look at him.
All right, based on that description, I know who Sean's talking about, but loyal listeners in the comments, I want to know who you think Sean is describing in the comments. I don't remember
the name of the character, but he was vines were growing over him, and he's getting more lifeless and becoming his throne every day.
Oh, wow. Brad, you're gonna have to chime in the comments of the video as well to see if you actually know who he's talking about. But don't say it because I want.
That's not necessarily fair because I'm actually reading through Fellowship right now. So
I was gonna say what was that? That was probably.
Let's see if you.
Yeah, that was Return of the King. That wasn't even Two Towers. No, not Two Towers. Yeah, Two Towers.
This is amazing.
It wasn't the second book. It was Return of the King.
Okay.
The third book.
Sure. So now I want to get into this conversation.
Read the books, motherfuckers.
No, we're going way out.
We'll get into this conversation in the comments.
Anyway, Sean Dyche, I've just ignored him. Burnley, let's go. We're getting results.
Sean, make sure you guys hit that follow.
We're getting results. We're going top half.
So my thoughts when watching this game, because I think I'm the only one that watched this game, right? I think Brad, you were watching the Everton game.
Yeah,
I watched Newcastle Everton.
Yeah, so you guys were watching the wrong game.
We watched the right game.
No, we watched the right game. It was a fun game.
Yeah, it started out as 2 relegation teams. We can talk about it right now. You go ahead with your birthday.
Yeah. Let me hit this. So we talked about this a little bit last week with Joel. We were talking about who were the big winners and losers in the transfer window, and we were all just being like, yeah, Newcastle won, and he brought up Burnley because he was talking about Weghorst, who Burnley signed as the replacement for Chris Wood. That dude's a baller. His touch and pass for the goal for Burnley was exquisite. He controls the ball, turns very, very quickly. I think he controls the ball through his legs, turns a player, and makes kind of like a backwards diagonal pass forward to his teammate who's in on goal. And the dude was just, and like a minute later, he had a shot on goal that was very close that De Gea had to turn away. So like Burnley had opportunities in this game to win it. And I think that he's going to turn into a very, very good signing for for Burnley. I think he'll definitely help them out a lot going into the second half of the season. So yeah,
Did United just fall apart?
That's my takeaway.
Pogba gets the goal, but did United fall apart? Like, what happened?
I saw a clip of the Burnley goal. It was Maguire completely botching it.
Who is surprised?
Honestly. Well, Maguire's at fault for the first goal being disallowed as well, because he gets penalized for being offside and impacting the play. Seemed a little harsh. I think it was a very letter of the law kind of implementation of the rule, which I appreciated because, Maguire clearly did what he did to foul the defender. And so he gets penalized for it. And then, on the second one, like, he gets turned. And
he's not good. At the 18-yard box,
it was,
too.
I think it was further up than that. I feel like it was further
way
up,
far out.
Yeah, he's just
way far out. When his line is maybe 5-7 yards behind him.
Yeah, he's just bad. Like, he got drawn out and then just got turned really easily.
Like, so the gap he was talking about when Vejors leaves it behind him, it was in the hole that Maguire created by coming out and missing.
I mean, Vegors took an awesome touch. Like, his touch was exquisite. But at the same time, you expect more from the captain of Manchester United.
Absolutely.
One of England's best, air quotes for the podcast listeners, best central defenders. But I think it just showcases that Harry Maguire is just not very good. He's slow. He doesn't react well. And as someone who was very high on Harry Maguire when he left Leicester, and I was disappointed that Arsenal didn't sign him, I'm now, hindsight, very, very happy that Arsenal didn't sign him because all of Arsenal's center backs are better than him now. But yeah, he's just not good. He's just not good.
In the Newcastle game.
Yeah. Tell me about the Newcastle game.
I'll be interested to hear Brad's thoughts, but my perspective, it started out probably the first 30 minutes was a relegation battle. It was awful. It was bad. It was kickball. It was bad defense. It was bad offense. It was fumbling the ball around. Nobody had good touches. And then all of a sudden, like, Dele came on and he looked nervous at the beginning. And of course, I'm going to defend him a little bit. But as the game went on, he began to, like, have those touches and moments and flashes of Tottenham, where there was a lot of times where he just completely screwed up and he got dispossessed very easily. And towards the end of his Tottenham run. But then there was also moments where he sees a gap and hits it, and Richarlison is not paying attention or not expecting it.
Yeah,
it made it look bad.
They're not on the same page yet, right? So, like,
not yet.
Training with them for a week, maybe a week and a half.
A week. Maybe.
And I don't think he was supposed to play as much as he did. Damari Gray went out for an injury, and so did Mina. So, like, their best midfielder, Everton's best midfielder, and probably one of their best central defenders, both went out injured in the first half. So, like,
we haven't established this yet, but Newcastle won the game 3-1. Newcastle, this is back-to-back wins for Newcastle. So back-to-back wins in very important games for Newcastle as well. Now Newcastle are out of the drop zone. They are up to 17th on 18 points, which leaves in 18th, 19th, and 20th Norwich City in 18th on 16 points, Watford in 19th on 15 points, and Burnley in 20th on 14 points. Quick update on Watford also played today. They lost to West Ham 1-0. But Brad, you're I think your second favorite entity. I think Brad's hierarchy in English football is Chelsea and wherever the fuck Frank Lampard is.
Yes,
because
I'm not opposed to this. I think you're correct.
The tweet,
I'm here for. I want Everton to do well because I want Frankie to do well.
The Everton support tweets were out in full force.
They were.
Like, Brad clearly took over the Red Card Radio Twitter account. If you saw any of the posts about the Everton accounts,
if I had the account and it was me. I would have been talking about the Tottenham reunion we had over on Peacock, because we had Andrews Townsend and Dele Alli playing in the midfield for Everton against Kieran Trippier and Newcastle on the other side. And Trippier had a great game. I mean, he played a great right back plus a set piece goal.
Yeah.
And then
And
I
an
thought,
assist.
like I said, I thought Dele played okay, but because when the passes were going to Richarlison wasn't ready for them. But on the flip side, because of the link up play, I think probably of Kane and Dele, when Richarlison was finding those passes, Dele was there. Now, you're not always going to convert those passes, especially when they're needle. You don't always make it through with the ball, but Dele was there to receive the pass and try to move through. So it's just something they need to work on right now. But like I said, that being said, Dele got dispossessed many, many times during this game in awful fashion.
Which is probably expected. Like, when was his last real minutes? When you guys were in the Conference League?
Probably, yeah. Probably Cups. Yeah, probably
It's gotta be
Conference
it.
League and Cups. Yeah.
But Trippier, like, go ahead.
Well, no, you finish your point. You finish your point.
I don't know why Trippier did not come in and get handed the armband. He is Newcastle's most important player. He created.
Who is their armband?
Lascelles had it today.
I think Lascelles, yeah. Who
Yeah,
scored the own goal, which not his fault. That was.
He also scored the
errors.
header that was a goal. That
It was an own goal.
Yeah, but he hit the header though.
I don't know, Brad.
Yeah.
You can't just hand the armband to someone like a week
No.
after.
What do you mean?
That's not something serious.
Cahill went. Cahill went to I forget where Cahill went to after Chelsea, but they handed him the armband. Aston Villa handed the armband to John Terry. I think Trippier has enough standing in the English realm that
John, you're talking about center backs versus a right back.
Yeah,
no,
I don't know. I would be disappointed in Arsenal if they handed their armband to somebody they had just signed in January.
But if you
I
sign
agree.
somebody that has had the impact Trippier has had, he's been their best signing so far.
Sure, but like,
but what does that say to Alex St. Max? Like, you take it off Lascelles and give it to a January signing without giving it to him? Or
I mean,
he's finally passing the ball. That's the big difference. Newcastle is actually like he's moving the ball through him. He's not just taking
what I mean?
it like a ball.
There's a couple of Newcastle, like, not lifers, but like
players
guys
who've been there for a while.
Been there for a while. Even John Joe Shelby should probably get a look.
So I think this
is probably his last game.
John Joe Shelby getting the armband would be a very Arsenal move.
I couldn't believe he's still on the team. Man, this was like 2 weeks ago. I looked out there. I was like, John Joe Shelby's still trotting around taking free kicks? What the hell's going on around here?
It's funny because like Newcastle was his level. Like that seemed like a good club for John Joe Shelby. But Newcastle has surpassed John Joe Shelby at this point
already.
Yeah, he's been he's been on the team for years.
Loyal listeners will also know my complete surprise earlier this season when I found out Tim Krul's still trotting around second choice for Newcastle. I thought that dude was about 45 years old.
He's Norwich City's goalkeeper, bro.
He's still playing.
So we were joking about this. It was the first match week, and we were like, "Wait, Tim Krul,
that's right.
We thought that he
that's right.
We thought he was retired or something, but he had just been down in the championship with Norwich City. He had been Tim Krul had been Newcastle's goalkeeper for many years, but he plays for Norwich City now.
I was so delighted and befuddled at the same time.
Yeah.
That Tim Krul is still playing.
I remember we had that conversation. Yeah, and then in the final. Oh, here's my question. I have a question for Joshua. If you're still listening at this point in the podcast, can you fill me in on why Dominic Calvert-Lewin hasn't been playing?
He's hurt.
He was on the bench today. Has he been injured? Is that all it's been?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought that's
because
what it was,
he
but I
came
wasn't
back.
Sure.
He came back 2 weeks ago. Right before we broke for the international.
Okay.
He came back. He played a game that was his first game since like October or September, and then they've probably just been easing him back in.
Okay, because
probably figured Newcastle's a game we don't need to press him on. I'm assuming.
Turns out
they could have used him, but
I don't know. At this point, with where Newcastle, with where Everton are in the table, you kind of have to assume every game is a must-win.
But then they had the two subs in the first half, which kind of changed it.
Yeah.
So use the last sub to get Dominic some minutes, or do you save it in case there's a last minute, substitution, or do you bring him in the 15? Do you wait and see if there's an injury? Like that kind of changed it for Frank, I'm sure.
Yeah,
once he gets two in the first half.
Yeah. Anytime there's an injury substitution, even just one, it throws off the plans entirely. So
I would wait. Well, still answer the question, Joshua, if you're still listening. But I would probably wait till this week on the Leeds game and see if he plays in Leeds.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't, then maybe there's something going.
Yeah.
Maybe tweak something.
Because the reason why I ask as an Arsenal fan is apparently Arsenal are interested in signing him. They were apparently interested in signing him this January, but that didn't materialize. And so the talk is that Arsenal want to sign him in the summer. And I know that I'm pretty sure if you check the sheets of integrity, I picked him to be the Golden Boot this year.
No.
Wait. No, did I pick? Oh, did I pick him last year? Maybe I picked him last year. Yeah, I remember now that I picked Salah. Yeah, no, anyway, we move on. Maybe I was joking about picking him. I don't know. But for some reason that was in my mind. But apparently Arsenal are talking about signing him, and I'm just I'm not personally sold as of right now. But I guess we'll see what happens in the summer. But that's for the summer. But that's those other West Ham Watford. Nothing interesting happened really. And I didn't watch the game. I think everything interesting that happened around West Ham was not during the game, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
I just thought it was a little tasteless from Moyes, even though I understand his answer. A little tasteless to say that it is. He said, basically, I'm paraphrasing. He said, my responsibility is on the field activities. The club will handle off the field activities.
Yeah. So what we're talking about, in case anyone is unaware, Kurt Zouma was videotaped. What am I talking about? There was a video released of Kurt Zouma physically abusing a cat that lives in his house. I assume it's his cat. But he was caught physically abusing this cat. And the video was released like 12 hours or like a day, like yesterday or something like that. And then the very next day, Kurt Zouma is in the starting lineup for West Ham United. Apparently, police are investigating the situation, but it's not a good look for West Ham. It's not a good look for David Moyes to just abdicate any responsibility. It would have been better in almost everyone's opinion for West Ham to leave him out and suspend him for at least the game while the inquiry takes place. It's not nearly as bad as the Benjamin Mendy situation at Manchester City, because that's clearly dealing with rape and some that's significantly worse.
And the Greenwood.
Yeah.
And the Greenwood.
The Greenwood.
There's levels
clearly
here.
two different situations.
But there is like a level of sweep it under the rug kind of situation. It seems like where West Ham is like, well, we're here to win football matches, and it's just it leaves a bad taste in everyone's mouth.
Absolutely.
So,
and if anyone has seen the video, it's not pretty.
Yeah, it's not not a good look.
No, it's definitely not a good look.
The cat's probably physically fine, but mentally not okay.
Yeah.
The cat's being tortured.
Yeah.
I don't think there's broken bone situation.
It
but
might be. I don't know.
Who knows?
It's just bad.
I'm not here to speculate, but it mentally definitely not okay.
Yeah.
Cat's probably terrorized to be in that house.
For sure. So, yeah, that's our update for games that have taken place. We do have a few more games in the midweek tomorrow, or today, depending on when you're listening to it, on Wednesday and on Thursday. So the games on Wednesday, Manchester City are hosting Brentford, Norwich are hosting Crystal Palace, and Spurs host Southampton, and Aston Villa host Leeds. On Thursday, Liverpool host Leicester, and Wolves host Arsenal. And then that leads us into this weekend, match week 24. I assume it's match week 24. We're at the part of the season where we're at people are all over the place. Brad's saying it's match week 25. I think it's match week 24. Who knows is the answer.
I'm a Burnley fan. It's match week 19 around here.
Exactly. So it's the confusing part of the season where teams are on different number of games played. It probably technically is match week 25 if I'm not mistaken.
Midweek is 24.
But
match day 25 is this weekend.
Anyway,
but it's okay.
Well, to be fair, Arsenal Wolves is a makeup game from many weeks ago. So like if Arsenal Wolves is a makeup game this week, this midweek, why would it be taking place on a match week 24? Anyway, that's my only point.
This is match week 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 20, and 25. Coming up.
Exactly. So this weekend, starting on Saturday, Manchester United are hosting Southampton. Brentford are hosting Crystal Palace. Everton are hosting Leeds. Watford are hosting Brighton. Norwich are hosting Manchester City. On Sunday, Burnley are hosting Liverpool. Newcastle are hosting Villa. Spurs are hosting Wolves. Leicester are hosting West Ham United. And if you are paying attention, that's only 9 games because the 10th game, Chelsea versus Arsenal, had to be rescheduled because Chelsea is away at the Club World Cup.
Winning trophies.
That no one cares about.
Yet to be seen, Brad.
Audi Cups.
So is Kepa going to play in goal for you guys?
Hey, Kepa made a save to keep us in the FA Cup. Kepa saved a penalty. Kepa is the man.
So
actually, I think Mendy might play tomorrow. There's rumors circulating that Mendy might be playing tomorrow.
Give that man a break, man.
Yeah, they were just celebrating in Senegal like 12 hours ago.
Yeah,
give him a break. Like he's probably hungover, and I don't. Like probably the entire country is Senegal.
Yo, did you see those celebrations? Like they were.
Yes, absolutely.
And good for them. Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean,
I would like to point out if you guys Kulusevski. I'm getting closer to his name. Kulusevski. I'm getting closer to his name.
Yeah.
I told you once he makes an impact on me, I would start to pronounce his name right.
This is a funny quote. I think you're bringing up.
Yes.
He
on his interest of why he wanted to play under contract. And I quote, "I love suffering." Boy, did you come to the right club. If you love suffering, Tottenham United Hotspur is for you. Let's go, Tottenham Football Club.
It's true. He's not wrong.
That's right.
He's not wrong.
If you love suffering, right here in North London, baby.
That was such a he doesn't.
Oh my god!
He probably doesn't understand the memeability of that statement.
Yes.
Like, he doesn't understand the implications of
Tottenham.
What he's talking about is that like the training sessions that Antonio Conte puts on are brutal. That's what he's talking about. Like they're just physically demanding, physically difficult. And so that's what he's referring to, not necessarily the long-standing suffering of Tottenham Hotspur supporters, which is just hilarious.
There was a bunch of people on Tottenham Twitter that were saying, I'm going to save this quote for meme purposes later.
It wasn't only Tottenham spheres. It was literally
I'm sure it was all across the Premier League of just saving this. I love suffering.
Did you see the Arsenal meme today where apparently someone at the Arsenal web store, if you clicked checkout with an empty basket, it said your basket is empty, just like Tottenham's trophy cabinet. That's good.
I saw that.
Spurs getting dragged.
Apparently we responded with not a really great response.
Like was it trying to be funny?
Yeah, it was something along the lines of your card is empty. Apparently, your runners up like Chelsea or like Arsenal. Apparently, your items are runners up or so. Yeah, it was trying to be funny, but like it
wasn't.
You got trolled. All right, just accept it.
Yeah.
You could say it suffered from no laughs.
Yeah, it suffered. Yeah.
So
I did like the Tottenham supporters just responding with all the trophies that they have.
Oh, did
which
they?
was incredible. Yeah. There was a lot of them.
What trophies were they responding with?
Oh, well, it's like 2 league titles. It's like 2 league titles, 3 European, 8 FA, 2 league cups.
Oh.
There's plenty in the trophy cabinet. They just haven't been for
12,
14 years.
you got 14 years. It's
Yeah.
been a while. There's been a lot of suffering around here.
I think the last FA Cup you guys won was in 1991 or something like that, and
91 was the last FA. Yeah.
the last league title you won was in the 70s.
61?
I thought it was like 77 or something like that.
I thought we won the league and the FA at the same, or I thought. No,
I mean,
I'm pretty sure the league
I'm
was
sure-
61.
I bet
or
you guys
63.
I bet you guys did do a league double. I'm sure that's your like claim to fame.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was early 60s or maybe it was early 70s.
Football is so different between
It was a long time ago.
between now and the 60s.
The last league was, I'm pretty sure, was early 60s though.
I mean, Arsenal doesn't really have much room to joke about that. Our last league was 03-04. But that was the invincible season, so we will bring that up whenever we get the chance.
Sure.
But yeah, are you guys looking forward to any of these games, either midweek or at the weekend?
Everton Leeds.
Yeah, that's going to be a good.
That's a good one. I want to watch that one.
Leeds are gonna pour it on them, dude.
I'm gonna watch that Liverpool Leicester game.
So
I don't know if it's gonna be interesting because Leicester might have to respond to the slapping they got from Nottingham Forest, but
I think the game that stands out to me is the Newcastle Aston Villa game on Sunday. I think that'll be interesting to see if Newcastle's new signings get them up to the level of Aston Villa, because I think Steven Gerrard has Aston Villa playing pretty good football, I think, and whether or not the new signings can incorporate into Newcastle fast enough to make that an interesting game. Because I think on paper, I think you would pick Aston Villa to win that game. I think on paper, but Newcastle are on a good run of form. They've got some new players that are playing well, so I think that's a really interesting prospect.
And here's the two things working against Villa.
Okay,
is that they play at home against Leeds on
tomorrow,
Wednesday.
I think, yeah.
So they get one less day of rest.
Yeah.
And Leeds are going to run them ragged. That's
True.
one thing Leeds are going to do.
True.
They're just going to run. And then you go away to Newcastle. Newcastle get another home game on the Sunday. So they get an extra day of rest on Sunday at home after Villa just got ran ragged by Leeds.
Yeah.
So those are things working against Villa and Gerrard.
Yeah.
So that will be an interesting game.
Yeah.
At Villa Newcastle.
Is that James's pick of the week?
I mean, like,
no, there's plenty worse games.
I think if we're picking like the worst games, and like I think the worst game, or the game of the worst teams is the Everton Leeds game, right?
I would probably say Norwich Man City. That's gotta be a pick for the worst game to watch.
But
I was gonna say game to take a nap to is Norwich City.
But I think I've been lambasted in the past about James's pick of the week by not
It's
just picking
Everton Leeds,
picking the dumpster teams. So like do I
Brentford Palace?
The question is well, Palace is good.
Brentford Palace will be interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty. That I think Palace is better, but Brentford.
Yeah, the closest you get to a dumpster fire game is probably Everton Leeds,
right?
But yeah, the snooze fest is either Norwich City or Burnley Liverpool.
City's gonna put like 15 past Norwich here.
Burnley Liverpool being the early game on Sunday, that's a great one to wake up, turn on, and nap to until the Newcastle Villa game.
Like that's the thing. Like this is this Norwich City versus Manchester City game.
Did you say Norwich?
Norwich? No, I didn't.
Norwich.
The thing about the Norwich versus City game is that I think this is one of those goal pumping games for Manchester City where they're gonna put like 8 past them. How many did they score in the reverse fixture? Like, was it like 5-0 or something like that at the Etihad?
No, yeah. That was one of the earliest games of the year.
Yeah, so like I think City are gonna pump Norwich here, and I think Liverpool are gonna pump Burnley. But I don't know. Burnley's a difficult place to go play. But Mo Salah is back, and Mane will probably be back at that point as well by Sunday. I don't think Sadio Mane is back in Liverpool yet. Mo Salah is in Liverpool. He trained today, so it's possible that he could be available for the Leicester game in some capacity. I mean, he's been playing football, so he could just start. Like, it's just like a normal rest for him at this point.
Oh, wants to play apparently is what's been said.
Yeah, because he's pissed. He just lost a cup final. I'd want to play too. But yeah, I think if I have to nail it down, what James's pick of the week is going to be the Everton Leeds game. Let me write this down. James' pick of week. That is now in the rundown, written down, demarcated. So, boom, it's there. You guys got anything else? No? We're done? That's it? Well, if you are
a football week.
If you're still listening, first and foremost, we really appreciate it. Second, if we could be so humble to ask that you hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button, give us a like, rate us if your podcast allows you to rate us. We appreciate those 5-star reviews, and leave us a comment. Tell us what you thought. Tell us which game you're looking forward to this weekend, and definitely hit us up with what you think Sean was talking about with the king from Lord of the Rings who is turning into his throne. I really want to hear your opinions on that. But until next week, as always, you can hit us up on Twitter. That's at KSBradG. Down below me, that's at Whiteheart_Sean. I am at James Tiffany, and we collectively are at Redcard_Radio on Twitter. Hit us up on Twitter. Hit us up on YouTube comments. We'd love to hear from you. But until next week, we really appreciate it, and have a good